Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. It's fight week. Jermell Charlo, Saul Canelo Alvarez about to get it on this weekend. But look, we need to really sit back and try to understand some things about this fight. One thing I'm gonna tell you that I just don't understand is how people just aren't giving, Jermell Charlo a chance. Look at the picture on the left. Look how much taller and bigger he is than Canelo, right? Nobody should be questioning Jermell Charlo's skill set, IQ, his ability to fight inside or outside, and his instinct to be patient and when to become more active. So Jermell Charlo didn't just turn pro yesterday. He's been doing this for a while. He's undisputed for a reason, just like Canelo is undisputed for a reason. But I just think we need to really understand this. Now, Canelo Alvarez is out here saying, some would agree, I don't know if I agree, but Canelo says he's the best fighter in the world. And he doesn't care what Terence Crawford has done. Now we know Canelo Alvarez likes challenges. And that is one of the reasons why he's going up against Jermell Charlo. But this whole thing about undisputed versus undisputed, I'm not so sure that I'm sold on that, because we got to understand Jermell Charlo, was fighting at 154, super welterweight, bubbling up to 168. That. Two weight divisions, it is a big deal, but Jermell is a big boy, so he can pack on I like to clarify this. He's not gaining weight, okay? What's happening with Jermell Charlo is he walks around probably like 190. So what happens is during his weight cut, he normally goes past 168. Past 160 to get down to 154 for a moment in time and weigh in. What's happening now is he's still coming down in weight, but he's stopping at 168. You understand? It's not like he has to eat steak and potatoes to gain weight to make 168. This ain't Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying? Pacquiao having to eat rice to get up to 147. He naturally walks around smaller than that. Same thing with Mayweather. So I just wanted to make sure I clarified that. But Alvarez has 59 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws. And we all know what happened with Gennady Golovkin. I'll say it until I'm blue in the face. They robbed Gennady Golovkin of a win in the first fight, and they robbed him of a win in the second fight. Okay, the third fight, it is what it is. Canelo got the win. That wasn't the same Golovkin from, 10 years ago. But Canelo, look, there was a time where Canelo, I felt, was in his prime, and he was out here destroying guys. Like when he was fighting Miguel Cotto, who was at the end of his career, but Canelo was in his prime. Fighting Shane Mosley, who was at the end of his career, but Canelo was in his prime. And I would say, when he fought Billy Joe Saunders, Canelo was still looking sharp and dangerous. Okay? So we got to give him his credit. Now, those other wins like Baldomir, Austin Trout, Arizlandi Lara, Amir Khan, Liam Smith, Daniel Jacobs, Kovalev, Caleb Smith, Caleb Plant. Look, everyone can have an opinion on it, but the bottom line is you should know all those names. Whether guys were in their prime, not in their prime, if they fought scared or they didn't fight scared. The bottom line is Saul Alvarez has a very, very solid resume, probably one of the best in boxing right now. Now, Alvarez, which is funny, a lot of people have him ranked number 1 on the pound-for-pound list. And it's hard to argue that. But there are some other little, these little top 10 listings that are out there that have him ranked like number 6. And then the funny thing is, they won't even have Jermell Charlo ranked at all in those listings, which is, mind-blowing to me. But as far as betting, when it comes to Canelo and Charlo, if Charlo was to win, that would be considered a huge upset because Alvarez is a betting favorite. I think it's I don't know how to read this stuff, but I think it's under 425, and Charlo is a plus 325 on the buyback. So, bottom line, Charlo is a highly skilled fighter, and he does have the ability to knock somebody out with one punch. And he has fought some good opposition in the weight class, but we can't say that the opposition he fought in his weight class is the same as Alvarez, even though I don't think Canelo is the Canelo of old. All right? So the bottom line, right? Jumping 2 weight classes. I don't think it's ever been done. If anyone from this 4-belt era has jumped 2 weight classes, and to see a pair of undisputed champions get in the ring and let their hands go. Now, I know years ago there was I think it was Sugar Ray Leonard and Donnie Lalonde. I think that was probably the closest we got to that, because Lalonde was he was a light heavyweight belt holder, and Leonard had jumped up to fight him. But I mean, it doesn't matter that Leonard held titles at 147, 154, and 160. He was going up to fight somebody who was holding a WBC light heavyweight belt. And it gave Leonard an opportunity to win a belt in the 4th class. But it was crazy because what Leonard ended up doing is he convinced the WBC to create a super middleweight division. And if that guy Lalonde could make 168, then both belts could be on the line. And that was pretty interesting and pretty smart for Sugar Ray Leonard to do that. Now, there is no rule in a title bout how much one could be under the weight limit once the bout was sanctioned. So the thing about what Leonard was trying to pull with the WBC is that guy Lalonde agreed to make that fight at 168, and the WBC, of course, agreed to sanction it. So both titles were at stake, the 175-pound title and the 168. So it gave Leonard an access, instead of 4 weight class, becoming the champion of 4 weight classes, 5 weight classes, which is pretty significant when you think about it. But nonetheless, man, that kid weighed in at 167. Leonard weighed about 165. And look, you're talking about big time money these guys actually made in that fight. But Leonard proved, because he wanted to fight, that a smaller man can win. That being said, when you think about Charlo, although I don't think he's that much smaller, he is considered a smaller man. He doesn't have that much of a size disadvantage. Alvarez is not a huge super middleweight anyway. So Alvarez doesn't really have to cut a whole lot of weight to get down there. I think Alvarez is cruising right around 175, 180 maybe. We know there's a lot of champions in the division. They have to kill themselves to get down to 168 pounds. So when we look at Charlo as a big super welterweight, now his brother Jermell, he's sitting there at middleweight and he has a belt. But I just thought that was by choice. One decided to go to another weight division so they didn't have to fight each other. But I think Jermell could have easily, gone up to middleweight and fought there. It's just something with him and his brother that they agreed on. But let me tell you something. This right here, this is a fight where if Canelo Alvarez loses, he's gonna have to think about his next move, because I'm telling y'all, he's not supposed to lose to Jermell Charlo. If he loses, what's next? You understand? He's gonna have to think about his next move. I mean, if he can't beat a guy who's coming up from 154 pounds, that tells you that Canelo needs to think about what he's doing. Because he'll no longer be undisputed at 168. And then Jermell Charlo is going to be the new face of the sport of boxing. Maybe temporarily, but for the next couple of weeks, a month, Jermell Charlo will be it. And that accomplishment will overshadow Terrence Crawford's accomplishment with Earl Spence. Okay? So, it's an advantage to Alvarez, in my opinion, to have the fight at 168. But Charlo hasn't fought in a while, but I would think he'd probably be more comfortable at 168. But we got to see. We just got to see if Charlo can overcome the pressure that Canelo's gonna put on him. You know what I'm saying? Because Canelo's gonna put a lot of pressure on him, cutting that ring off, and he's going to look to let his hands go in spots. Canelo doesn't punch in combination anymore. Even if you watch the way he used to train, hitting the mitts, hitting the bodysuit, hitting everything, you watch. He doesn't train like that anymore. So I don't know if there's more to the story. We know, everyone says there's a lot of wear and tear on Canelo. But is there more to the story of why Canelo doesn't let his hands go like he used to? We know Mayweather, it was widely rumored that he had brittle hands and hand problems. Who knows? Maybe Canelo's having hand problems, but they're just not giving us a clue about his situation. Now, Alvarez has lost, and if you look at his losses, how Floyd Mayweather beat him, how Bivol beat him, these guys were two very, very good boxers. And the thing about it is, I don't think it's fair to try to compare anyone to Mayweather. But what I will say is, although Bivol is not anywhere near as skilled as Mayweather, he's a very sound, fundamentally sound boxer from that Russian amateur program. And he, just bare fundamentals, was able to make Canelo look amateurish in that ring. Plus, I don't know what Reynoso was thinking to drop a game plan for Canelo to come in there and just beat up Bivol's arms. So, I mean, I get it. Hit his arms, his arm will drop. You can get to him, but I think he took it to the stupid there. But the bottom line is, at the time when Canelo fought Mayweather, some say he was inexperienced. Well, when he fought Bivol, he was very experienced. And Bivol beat him with a very similar approach. Now, Jermell Charlo is kind of like that. A boxer, puncher, mover. Jermell he knows when to throw his shots, and he has a nice punch selection. And the thing is, Jermell can fight the whole 12 rounds moving. We've seen him do it over and over. We know Canelo gets tired. But what we haven't seen is Jermell do that. And I'm just going to be real with that extra weight on him. So it's interesting. It's interesting. But the primary advantages that Jermell had at 154, is he going to have those advantages at 168? You know what I mean? Like, is he going to be able to still, move like he did, punch while he's moving, have that power in the late rounds, have that stamina in the late rounds? Is it going to be like that, or are we going to see some signs of fatigue? Is he going to be able to get a second and third win when he needs it? Because I'm telling you, I think he's going to be forced to move around more than ever. And he's doing that with weight on him, and after coming off of a long layoff. And that could play to Canelo Alvarez. But then again, we got to look at Canelo Alvarez and his situation and the injuries and not being healthy and slowing down and looking less than stellar in his outings. I don't know. Maybe that gives Jermell an opportunity to maybe hurt Canelo early. I mean, we just don't know. But I think it's a fair conversation. I really do. But the bottom line for Jermell Charlo, I think it's definitely going to be that jab. Strong jab, man. You got to make Canelo think twice about coming in on you. And I think he should throw the jab, then the right hand behind it, then the jab again, then get out of danger. Because that's exactly what Bivol was doing. Bivol was 1-2-1 and then kind of stepping back and creating that space. And Canelo couldn't get to him the way he wanted to. So it is what it is. Canelo can't afford for his effort to be lacking. He's gonna have to figure out how to close the distance. And when he does, you're gonna have to make Jermell Charlo pay. But that being said, I hope Canelo Alvarez and his team, they're not looking past Charlo. One thing about Canelo, that's never been an issue with him. He's very focused, laser focused on fights, and, he's going to be on his A game. Alvarez fought 63 times as a pro and has been ready to go in all of those fights. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But I'm gonna tell you what, Freddie Roach had something to say. Freddie Roach wasn't playing around. He went on the record, and he said he sees a path to victory for Charlo, which doesn't have anything to do with Alvarez being off. He's just saying that the big thing for Charlo is just that damn left hook. He's like, if what's his name, Canelo can't stay away from Charlo's left hook, he's like, Charlo gonna stop him. And for those of you who are saying, why is he talking about the left hook? Because if you look when he hit Castano, hook, right hand, he hurt him. When he hit Tony Harrison, hook, right hand, those are the shots that hurt his opponents. And it's not like they buzz him, like he really hurts him bad. So, and we know that Jose Cotto, Miguel Cotto's brother, long time ago, but still, he almost got Canelo out of there. Canelo was out on his feet. I'm surprised he didn't stop the fight. But we're gonna have to wait and see. But it's like I said before, when it comes to this fight, my biggest concern for Jermell Charlo is if he can get a win on decision. Like that's my concern. Because out there in Vegas, let me tell you, you just don't know what direction things are gonna go. You look at Mayweather, it's absolutely horrendous, the scoring. The fact that they had, C.J. Ross with a card of 114, a draw, which was absolute madness. And then you look at Adelaide Byrd scoring the first Alvarez-Golovkin fight, 118-110, which we all know that she should never, ever have been allowed to judge a fight again, because that was a secret society in action. And there's no arguing that. But that being said, look, let's see how it goes. Harvey Dock is supposed to be refereeing the fight. And we're going to have some pretty interesting judges. Max DeLuca of California, Steve Weisfeld of New Jersey, and David Sutherland of Oklahoma. Let's just hope these guys get it right, because I really want to know, man, if Charlo can win this fight. I think he can. I think he's going to need to use that jab. Finish everything. He needs to finish everything with his one. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. But he got to come back to that jab to create space. That way Canelo can't just close the distance on him. And the other question is, look, is Canelo's time up? You can't stay a baby forever in the sport of boxing. You can keep putting that work in. But all that sparring, all that training, man, at some point in time, you just got to, your body will let you know. That could be what happened with Canelo. Body could be telling him something. But I don't know. We'll find out. That being said, y'all keep cool. Can't wait till this weekend to check out that fight. It's going to be good. Yo, I'm in the breeze.